What up, man? How's everybody doing? I know it's been a minute, kind of reeling off my picks, But for y'all who don't know, my name is Ray, King Mahara, you know what I'm saying? For those. But anyway, I want to thank y'all for joining and listening to Sports with Ray. I cover a couple of things that stem from any kind of sports that we deal with. NBA, NFL, college foot. I may throw a little baseball in there, The hockey playoffs, the NHL playoffs are in there as well. So, definitely boxing. So, let's start with the NBA playoffs. So, I made a video a couple weeks ago, and I was right about some things and super wrong. So, the first round, let's start with it was Phoenix and New Orleans. Thought Phoenix was going to win. I didn't know New Orleans was going to play them as tough, which actually became a foreshadowing of what we saw recently. But, definitely picked Phoenix to win. It took them 6 games, though. And then you had Memphis and Minnesota. And I thought if the Clippers that got in there, they were going to win. They were going to upset Memphis because of the experience. And if you look at that first round between Memphis and Minnesota really should have won 4-1. They were both inexperienced. If I'm correct, Minnesota is the first team that had 3 double-digit leads in a playoff series and lost every game. But they had a double-digit lead going in the fourth quarter. It was just a lot of inexperience, and then at the end the best player, who was Ja, and they had the better team, ended up just outlasting Minnesota. But Minnesota, basically what would happen is they would get up on them, I think they were more evenly matched in the seeding shows, but when Memphis made that run, they couldn't stop the bleeding, and that's how they continue to lose these games. So that was that. Let's see, who else? Golden State played Denver, and I picked Denver to win. Because of health. I was arguing with my homeboy about this. I said I didn't know they was healthy, but Golden State was fine. They were too much for the back-to-back reigning MVP, Nikola Jokic. We knew that was going to go. So what was that, the 3-6? Okay, I'm over here losing my train of thought. Okay, then Dallas, Utah. Oh yeah, everybody knew that Utah don't like each other no matter what they say. They've kind of run their course. They got a star in Mitchell. You got a star and a defender in Gobert, but he's a liability. And then you got a lot of role players, which is ironic because when you look at Dallas, they got a superstar and Luka, and then you got a lot of role players, but they have role players that step into the role and can be superstars at times, which was Brunson and Dinwiddie. So, they got them out of there. I think I picked Utah to win, but I wasn't confident. So that's how that went. Let's go to the East. The East real quick. Miami destroyed Atlanta. I figured that. Nobody saw Boston sweeping the Nets. And, there was a lot of woulda, coulda, shouldas with that. But, man, your team ain't played all year. Your team hasn't played in 2 years together, so that's what showed on the court. I guess an experienced team. Their head coach was your assistant head coach, so it was almost like he knew what they were going to do, and then made Kevin Durant look as bad as he's ever looked. And so, shout out to Boston. They were the favorite seed at the number 2 seed, and they weren't scared to play them either. So, got them out of there. The only sweep. You had Milwaukee and Chicago. I knew Milwaukee was going to win. Chris Middleton messing up his MCL foreshadows the second round where they kind of missed him. Chicago, they were injured all year. I mean, they started off great, but once they got those injuries, Lonzo not coming back, Levine in and out the lineup, DeMar did good, but they just didn't. They just kind of ran out of gas. Caruso being injured, so I mean, but they had a successful season though. Considering they didn't make the playoffs last year. And then I'm trying to think. What was the last two off the top of my head? Oh, Philadelphia and Toronto. Uh, so a lot of things happened in that first round that foreshadowed the second round. So Philly was up, and then the next thing you know, they start playing lax. It was up 3-0. If I'm correct, yeah. Or 3-1, I can't remember. Then Toronto, who plays hard, they just play hard. Scotty Barnes getting hurt didn't help them. Van Fleet, I mean, Philly had the better team, so they end up winning. I originally picked Philly too, so half of them was right, half of them was wrong. I'm not gonna lie. Let's get to that second round. The second round, now we get into the shizzle nizzle, the rizzle shizzle. I don't know what the hell I'm saying. Just ignore that. So then you have Philly and Miami. And then I almost forgot to mention how Joel Embiid, I ended up getting hurt. It was up 30. Siakam hitting with one of them rock elbow, the people's elbow. Whether may not be intentional, but some players just play wild, so that's just how they play. So he was out the first 2 games. And then James Harden has been who James Harden has been since he injured his hamstring last year. Whatever the reason was, he ain't look good. They was down 0-2. And B came back, he was beat up. And then how Miami just got him out of there. And then just a constant reminder of buckets. And Buckets was the best player in that series, you know what I'm saying? And it's funny because the media has all these tiers of great players and everything, and they never want to put Buckets in there because of the style of play that he has, But he's a superstar. I don't know, if he has the game, I guess, of a KD, a healthy Kawhi, as far as the elegantness, But when it comes to doing whatever his team needs and then willing this team to win, it's just the irony. I've been using that word a lot. The irony of Philly being a blue-collar town and everything. And I know it was the last regime, but essentially you got rid of Jimmy, who embodies the city of Philadelphia, which is why he gets along in Miami, because even though in Miami is Miami, they have that blue-collar culture from Pat Riley. Y'all let him go, and y'all spent $200 and something million on Ben Simmons and Tobias Harris. And then you traded Ben Simmons for James Harden, which is both karma. Philly and it's unfortunate. Philly and Brooklyn, they're players. They cost them the season. Kyrie, Ben, and James. I always felt karma was just gonna kind of catch up to him. Unfortunately, karma don't just hit you; it just hit who you around. And so James looked terrible. You know what I'm saying? And then that last game, that elimination game, and then that's when Jimmy Tobias Harris over me. That's what Embiid is missing. He's missing Jimmy is the number one who could be a perfect number 2. He can be Jimmy. You know what Jimmy is? Jimmy was Embiid's Chris Middleton, but probably but better. And they got rid of him. You know what I'm saying? And Jimmy sold 100. He even said, he wish he was still there. Like, you got a dominant big man. And they played their cards wrong. And now it's everybody's fault, from Doc. I don't know what they're going to do. We'll talk about that later. Let's go to the best series. Well, yeah, the best series of the second round to me, which was almost a de facto NBA Finals in a way. Milwaukee and Boston. I was kind of torn because, my favorite player is Giannis. My favorite young player is Jason Tatum. I've always said that. Like, when you got somebody like him that has a certain kind of polish, his game, he can already do everything. He just has to get more repetition. He has to get more practice. That's all to me. And then, the fact that they were able to have that real sit down, that confrontation that people don't like, where you got to look yourself in the mirror. I was one of those people that said, hey, you need to trade Jalen. I didn't think they could work together, but also it's because they didn't have a true point guard. And I give a credit to Marcus Smart. He started being more of a point guard. And once he started being more of a point guard, that allowed them to be more secondary with the ball handling, but still be primary ball handlers, opposed to just the pressure being on them to make plays. Now the ball's moving around because the great thing is you have Horford who can initiate the offense, as well as Brown, Tatum, and Smart, And Robert Williams, I know his injury's been in and out, can do so as well. So once Smart started to do what he needed to do as a point guard, plus being an elite defender, they all just kind of fell in place. Jalen said, okay, I can step back, but I can really still get my when Jason's out, it's my show. And then they got the pieces to complement. So you had that series. The glaring weakness was definitely Chris Middleton, but they already talked about it earlier today on TV shows. Definitely P.J. Tucker. They missed the wing defender. They basically let go of P.J. Tucker, and they got Grayson Allen and Wesley Matthews and George Hill. I don't know why George Hill was on their first run and they didn't win. I know he's a solid vet and everything, and then you got all these small people trying to guard these big wings, and then you got Drew exerting himself, and Giannis tried to impose his will, but they were able to push back right when it seemed like it was on the brink of he may break him. Jason Tatum had that LeBron-like Game 6, 46, or how Clay do, Clay Cole, you know what I'm saying, Clay Thompson. But anyway, I'll get to him in a second. But Jason had that 46, got him to Game 7. Grant Williams, the difference is their role players stepped up. They hit like over 23s a game. Boston did in Game 7. Milwaukee was 4 out of 33. That's ball game. Man. They roll. You get what you pay for, you want the elegant sativas and the great delicacy, but y'all actually got mid. Some people know what I'm talking about. Other people don't. Sometimes you want Remy, but you end up with Paul Masson. Y'all bought Paul Masson and thought it was going to turn out to Remy, but Milwaukee coming off a championship. So they may, hurt, but at least also knowing that Chris wasn't there, they can kind of feel good about that. I don't think Giannis is going to go for that 2 years in a row, though. Let's go to the West. So then we go to the West. Golden State, Memphis. I love that beef. You feel me? Like, I love that talking. Like, John and them, like, these young boys be talking. Everybody be talking. I love it in the playoffs because it's real. Nobody's playing. Nobody is playing. I need that emotion to show. Really, Golden State, I mean, you could say, I don't, they like, Ja got injured. It's questionable what happened. Hopefully he's okay. But that leads to, now it's official beef between the teams, like when it comes to the playoffs. Like, it ain't no rivalry because Memphis would have to win for it to be a rivalry. they play better without Ja. You know, as far as other teams when they lose their star, they're able to maintain water. I mean, the thought out there is if Ja was healthy, they might have won. I don't. Who knows? You know, it can go so many different ways. The same way with Middleton, like they probably would have played them differently. You know, I mean, the thing with Ja not in there, the ball spreads out more. But when it came to clutch time, they didn't have somebody that can be clutch. And, you know, Desmond Bain was injured with a bad back. I understand everybody's injured. You know, when your push button don't go, you know what I'm saying. If your back ain't going, I don't know if I can say pause, but you know, if you got a back issue, it's just, you know, that's one of the worst things to have. So I mean, they gave them a good fight. You know, Memphis learning. They beat them in the play-in game last year, so you know they got their get back, and then Dylan Brooks calling him old, and then also him injuring GP. It's going to be something interesting to look for as it goes on, but Golden State on a mission. And then, of course, we have the biggest upset of the year, which was Dallas versus Phoenix. Well, I said the foreshadowing is because when you looked at New Orleans, once they got CJ, they was a different team. Like I mean, you can. I mean, you don't know, but if they have Zion, if Zion plays, I mean, it's very realistic to say Phoenix could have been out of there in the first round. You know, and so then, I thought they were the better team against Dallas, but man, Luka, and then yeah, Luka reminds me of Larry Bird, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a different form of a Larry Bird. Everybody just thinks it's literal. It's not just because he's white. A lot of, there is some similarities, but Larry was one of the only few players that put up 20, 10, and 5. That's what Luka is almost doing. Like, and with that killer instinct, like, and then, like I said, he had his team roll with him. Jason Kidd instilled a belief, and they took heed to that. The same way, just like Udoka in Boston, Jason Kidd, they both being new head coaches this season. It took them half the season between just injuries, COVID, whatever, where their system was implemented and people started believing. And, he was able to call out Luka saying, no, you need to lose weight and play some defense. And, it's respectable because, you could, sometimes it's tough love and sometimes, I mean, he didn't mean it in malice, but also you can look, Jason Kidd, one of the greatest point guards ever. Not like it's and not to say like a lesser player. I mean, Luka's more as far as talented, but like, man, let's not forget who Jason Kidd was. Jason Kidd took them same kind of teams to the finals. So him giving him that word, and then they just kind of took heed, and they kind of, now you look at it, Dallas and Boston, they both have taken off after January, playing defense, being able to rotate. They took away a lot of sets and things that Phoenix liked to do. They weren't going to let the pick and roll go with DeAndre, who, he had his own little issues. I won't talk about that because I don't know for sure. I didn't get the, Wojnarowski report yet. You know what I'm saying? I'm still looking at my text messages. He ain't hit me yet. So, Woj, text me. Let me know what it is, though. But, yeah, so they took away a lot of that stuff, and they just put Luka, I feel like some teams just think like if you have the better record, you're better than them, that some of them would give up. But when you got a dog like that, like when you look at Luka, think about what had to happen. Like Kawhi had to go berserk last year. Paul did good. Then Terrence Mann went, but they had to go berserk to offset what Luka did. And nobody went berserk. And yeah, Chris Paul, he turned 37. I don't know what happened. I know he's not getting drug tested. It was almost like the air went out the balloon. And then just real quick, and then you see Pat Bev. He's on a lot of shows and he's going crazy on him. And I looked through a lot of the stuff that he said. There was a lot of truth in there as far as that CP gets away with a lot of things. He gets a lot of biasness, but when the thing with people, and I have to learn as well, is you have to. I know some people don't care. That's cool, but when you want to relay something, tact is everything. Because when it seems personal to me, I know how to decipher the two. Like, there was some things that he was saying that I'm like, man, you right. A lot of players, like, he kind of told him, like, talking about PG, like, PG got hella criticism for, and okay, I understand the 3-1, okay, not an OKC, but yeah, the OKC, but PG, like, he had great times, like, he had great times as an emergence as a superstar when he played LeBron, like, the only time PG really had, like, the better team was the Clippers when they blew a 3-1 lead and made that OKC. Like, he deserves a criticism, but it's some people that don't get the credit. I love Steph. Steph don't get a lot of criticism that some other people get. Like, it gets thrown, but it deflected to other people. But I feel like he started getting personal, and then he just basically saying he really wasn't that good. And then, it's okay, like, you trying to be 100, but how you're delivering, and then no matter, and you're saying like everybody knows, and everybody didn't agree with that. There may be some people that agree with that. That's why you had Dame, like, coming in, like, you do have a history. Like, I don't know what he said to you last year. I ain't saying it's warranted, but you pushed the man in the back, like, like, I feel like there's a lack. There's a lack of transparency, and don't forget, like, we know about your history too. That doesn't mean that what you're saying is less, but you have priors when it comes to this man. You know what I'm saying? You got priors with Westbrook. I also understand Westbrook said the same thing about you. Just like you saying, like, some people play defense, some people play. It was just the way that you kind of delivered. He delivered a lot of things. I'm not talking. He don't know me or anything. Where you made a lot of valid points, but really they was using you just for TV. And I know, sometimes when you you want to be people, like, you want to be 100 and everything like that. And I get that, but you got to be a little integral. I feel like Perk did that a little bit at first. They was trying to bait Amari into doing that when he was on there, like, trying to, not intensely, but then, like, if we can get a good take. And then, like, he was, Pat trended #1 on Twitter this whole day. And then I feel Matt Barnes, like, come on, man, like, I don't like the name calling for either or, but no, like, JJ was doing what he was supposed to do. Like I don't expect JJ, like, that wasn't JJ's position. JJ was just being himself, like, he was throwing his little digs, and it's like, nah, I know that's what you feel, but we all don't feel like that. Even Stephen A was looking like, but he's liking the aggressive, but nah, you like, like, you made a name, but it wasn't great, and you had a lot of great things to say, but it's overshadowed by the BS that was said as well. And I feel like I understand why Matt kind of came at him like, come on, man, like, it was some BS. They was really just playing you because they know you were saying outlandish stuff, even though you had some truth in there. And then I seen people trying to say, well, Matt, this, all he said. There was a lot of truth what Pat said, and there was a lot of truth what Matt said. Like, come on. Y'all talk about this brotherhood and everything, like, that didn't show any kind of brotherhood. Like, and you talk about there's no bias, and it's like, but when Russell Westbrook said that about, like, we hear both sides, so anyway, Luka and them, they just destroyed. Phoenix deserves that slander, though. That's what he was. I felt it when he was saying that. Like, how the hell you down 46 and you the #1 seed at home? Fuck wrong with y'all? Like, And Luka was letting y'all just have it, like, as he should. Y'all was talking, and y'all be talking crazy. Y'all was talking crazy to Paul. But one thing, and this is where Pat be having some validity. Most CP3 teams are always the most talkative, complaining ass teams. They all got that. Lob City was like that. Houston, they used to, James and him was complaining, like, and I know James complained, like, but that's that reputation, like, y'all talking, and then, you got Luka talking about y'all talk tough when y'all up. And then he just dog walks y'all straight to the Coyotes. So, I'm excited to see the conference finals, Miami and Boston. I feel like Boston should win. But for some reason, I don't know what it is. Maybe I can only just say how I feel. I mean, it seems like it's a course to be Boston and Golden State. But what I've learned about the NBA is anytime I really want a matchup, I don't get it. Because I really wanted to see Phoenix and Golden State. And that ain't happened. I wanted to see Milwaukee and Miami, in round 3. That didn't happen. So it's not just for that reason, but to me, I feel as if Miami, Jimmy buckets, I think they're going to get him in 6. I think Miami wins in 6. Golden State should win. Golden State should win. Like, I got Golden State in 6. I'm not confident in it, though, but Golden State should win. I mean, they're the better team. I mean, sometimes matchups, but it seems like Dallas plays Golden State well. They got Luka is going to be tough. It's going to be who imposes they will. It just seems improbable. The only reason why I'm not picking Dallas, I mean, Golden State's the better team, and it seems crazy and improbable for them to just go from getting put out in the first round and then just go to the finals. Not to say it can't happen, because Phoenix went to the finals and they weren't even in the playoffs the year before. But it's unpredictable. So I'm going to go with that. I'm going to say Golden State, Miami in the finals, and then I will come back with another episode after everything is over. After the Eastern Conference, after the conference finals is over for both conferences, and then have my prediction for the finals. All right. So then I'm going to talk a little bit of boxing real quick. There's been a boxing on every week. Stevenson, shout out to him. Shout out to Errol Spence. I don't know I hope we get to see Spence Crawford. They just need to make it happen. Just make it happen, I feel like the better fighter is Crawford. But I feel like Spence is the bigger guy. Like, Spence fought the best fight I saw him fight. Like, he came, and he be coming back from, like, tragic stuff, and he just gets stronger and stronger. And it's just amazing to see. He's he's hittable, though, but he seems like he take punches, but can people take his? I feel like Crawford is the better puncher. Crawford will get in there, too, and if they ever fight, will Crawford be able to handle his power? And Spence is one of those that goes to the body. But just as far as a tactician, naturally more gifted, I would say it would be Bud. But I hope we see that. Bivol versus Canelo, I was super happy. I ain't a Canelo fan. I think he decent. I don't want to get on my Pat Bev. He's more than decent, man. He can fight. But it was just funny how he criticized Floyd and the moves that he made and everything. Him and Oscar, and then they literally took the same format of sorts. When they was talking about Floyd was ducking everybody, but Floyd faced everybody. Then he beat him, then Manny beat him, and then y'all gave Manny props. You know what I'm saying? Canelo should have fought Triple G like 3 years before then, but he didn't. He made sure he was old, and he still really lost that first fight, but they gave him the first fight. Bivol was a bigger fighter. I mean, yeah, okay, I give Canelo props for him. I mean, he didn't have to do that. He could have stayed and fought Charlo or Triple G. He chose to go up there because he beat Kovalov. All right, cool. And Kovalov was cold, but once Andre Ward broke that guard down, he ain't been the same. You know, I mean, he can fight better than me, of course, but I'm just saying, like. So Bivol was just a better puncher, which I wanted to see what would happen when he got in there with somebody that was comparable as far as boxing skills. Because the only person I seen that was comparable as boxing skills was Floyd, and Floyd was backing him up, and he was tattooing him, and he made him look goofy. And Canelo, when he can't get to you, he get frustrated. And what did he do against Bivol? Bivol was tattooing him, and Canelo was trying to come back. He was little boying him, and then Canelo started to get frustrated, started picking him up and everything. And all them judges need to be slapped from talking about his 115 to 113, where Bivol clearly won about 9 rounds easily. Maybe Canelo won 4, and then Canelo talked. These boxers, man, they get hit in the head, but talking about he thought he won the fight. I don't know what fight you seen. You was getting backed up and tatted. You know what I'm saying? You need to watch the tape again, because whatever fight you talking about was not the one you was just in. So shout out to Bivol. Maybe Canelo may go back down and fight Triple G. He ain't gonna fight Jamal Charlo though. We know that. But Jermell, shout out to Jermell. He fought Castano. You know, that first fight, it looked like, man, Castano one of those. You know what I'm saying? He's hard to get out of there. Like, he gonna come at you. Like, if you close proximity, it's perfect for him. Perfect. Jermell realized that his jab, his left cross, you know what I'm saying, his combo punching was working once he set the distance and he got into his rhythm. And once he stopped engaging with him, you know what I'm saying, you know, sometimes people just be having that pride. Once he just set his distance and box how he wanted to box, he was wearing him out, you know. And then the steam that Castano had went by little. And then that 10th, you know, that left cross buckled him. And then after that, you know, that boy was in La La Land, you know what I'm saying? And I like how he finished it. Like, he hit him with the jab, left cross, one of them head slappers, and then hit him with the body, like, you know what I'm saying? Head rock, then you get hit in the body. It's almost like, come on, man, you just trying to shut my organs down, B. Cut this out. So, shout out to Jermell Charlo unifying the light middleweight, aka super welterweight division. I always got to do a little bit of Old State. I know it's a couple weeks past the draft. I just wanted to give a shout out to Olave getting drafted. He's down there with Mike Thomas. And New Orleans, Garrett Wilson getting drafted to the Jets. Hope that work out for you, bucko. You know what I'm saying? Also, you know, ex-O State, Jameson Williams going to Detroit. We're going to see you twice a year. As a Bears fan, you know we got Gordon. And then we did get Brisker. And then we got Jones. That was pretty cool. Also, all the other Buckeyes that got drafted. I know Master Teague was in the Bears practice facility. We signed him and then cut him. Hopefully he'll stick. He's one of them solid people. He doesn't have a lot of moves, but he's a good pro. One of the people that can just do a lot of things that, you know, you get with the right team. One good thing about the NFL, it doesn't matter who you are. You know, if you get a chance and you can ball, like, you can get a life changing. So congratulate to all of them. Rucker, I think he went to the Jets as well. Congratulate to all of them, everybody who got drafted. In closing, I just want to say that it's a lot of sports going on, and I'm here for it. Like I said, they just had the NFL draft. You got the WNBA that started. Shout out to Brittany Griner too. I mean, that situation's crazy. It's crazy how, they just use, like, you can be used as a pawn and you don't even know it, like, and you have no control. Like, that has to be the worst feeling ever. Not saying whatever she did was right or wrong. I don't think it was that deep, but like, now you're involved in something that you had, is bigger than you, and you're just a pawn. Like, that's just crazy. So shout out to her. Hopefully she get back here safe. Definitely peace everywhere. I'll be back. I'll definitely have another synopsis, another breakdown of this sports. And I just want to thank y'all, man. And this is Sports with Ray.